Things you have never seen. A cat with a perfectly split color line. This is 1 in a million straight up. Free range eggs versus factory farm. That's free range, that's factory farm. Crazy. This tree that got struck by lightning and is still burning to this day. Cap. This sandbar off the Bermuda Triangle that has claimed 13 ships. Damn, that's wild. A German circus that uses holograms instead of live animals. I'd go. I support. The original Star Wars movies fooled everyone with the use of painting. I did not know that. Lastly, the world's 3 biggest pumpkins. These are massive.
Human body parts that are completely useless now. Number 1 is goosebumps. Goosebumps are caused by muscle fibers called erector pili, and this is what causes your hair to stand on end, and we no longer need this. This was used when we had a lot more hair, and it can make you look bigger and puff you up and provide insulation. Next is the Palmaris longus muscle. About 10% of people no longer have this muscle. This muscle helped early humans with their grip when they were climbing trees, walking on 4 legs. However, this muscle is completely useless now, and it does not attribute to any grip strength either. Next is your tailbone. Human embryos develop a tail between 5 and 8 weeks after contraception. However, by the time they're born, it is vanished. Tailbones helped our ancestors with mobility and balance, but they no longer serve a purpose or help us anymore. Next is the third eyelid. Other mammals can pull these membranes to keep their eyes moist and free of debris. However, humans cannot control them anymore, and it's unsure why we lost this.
You just realized nobody knows what their own handshake feels like. That's wild. Every time you paint a room, it gets smaller. Insane. We buy garbage bags just to throw them away. I mean, true. We are the only species who pay to live on a planet. That's facts. It can never be opposite day, because if it is, it isn't. That's crazy. When you clap, you high five yourself for something someone else did. Elite. Things you can't unsee. This USB cord looks like a duck. That's fly. Dog's paws look like tiny koala bears. That's wild. Hidden arrow on the FedEx logo. I never noticed that. Someone's dog's forehead has the bat symbol on it. Delete. This towel hook looks like Scrat's face from the Ice Age movie. Oh my gosh. Green peppers that look scared. That's amazing. If you flip the Bulls logo upside down, it looks like a robot reading a book. Crazy. You just realized if you touch your tongue, it stops a yawn. I didn't know that. No matter how hard you pinch your elbow, it won't hurt. Facts. Only 2% of the world has green eyes. If you lick someone's elbow, they won't feel it. Who found that out? The word okay is a sideways person. I can't unsee this. You can see your nose at all times, but your brain just ignores it. Stop the cap. More than 50% of people in the world haven't made or received a phone call. That's crazy.
Facts that sound fake but are actually true, Part 3. There are more trees on Earth than there are stars in our galaxy. Dolphins are actually whales. Mushrooms are more closely related to humans than they are to plants. The Oxford University was actually founded before the Aztec Empire. William Shakespeare invented the name Jessica. And if you cut a hole in a net, it will have less holes.
Facts that will warp your perception of time. Anna Frank and Martin Luther King were born on the same year. George Washington died in 1799, 25 years before the first dinosaur fossil was found. Washington never knew of the dinosaur's existence. When Nintendo was founded, Jack the Ripper was still on the loose.
You are not ready to read this. People with blue eyes are better able to see in the dark. That's crazy. In Japan, you can buy strawberry flavored Cheetos. No. Cows have best friends and become stressed when they're separated. Sames. A photoshopped ad led to a new Arby's sandwich. Oh my god. Water bottle expiration dates are for the bottle, not the water. Never knew that. Pumpkin spice French fries in Japan are sold at McDonald's. No. It's called a mall because instead of going to individual stores, you go to the mall. Never knew.
Why don't more people know that the entire crew of Titanic was dosed with PCP and James Cameron was stabbed in the face? This story is so crazy, but you can go look this up. This is 100% true. August 1996. It's the last day of filming in Nova Scotia for the Titanic crew. At midnight, the caterers bring out a delicious spread, including chowder. And 60 people, including James Cameron, eat that chowder. And within hours, they are all tripping on PCP. Now, if you don't know, PCP is one of the most powerful hallucinogens known to man. But at first, James Cameron thinks it's some kind of food poisoning, so he takes everyone to the hospital. And people start absolutely losing it. They're riding wheelchairs down the hallway, doing a conga line. A crew member stabs James Cameron in the face with a pen, and James Cameron just sits there laughing and bleeding. Fortunately, other than that, no one was seriously hurt, but to this day, we don't know who did it. But there was a guy arguing with the caterers the day before, and so there's a theory that he was trying to like get revenge on the caterer. Tree grafting is one of the craziest things that we never talk about. Every single apple you've ever eaten in your entire life was grown like this because a Macintosh apple seed does not produce a Macintosh apple tree. And so what you have to do is you cut off branches from an apple tree and just stick them into another compatible tree. You can even use like a plum tree or a cherry tree, and that other tree will literally grow off of it and produce apples. So every single Macintosh apple you've ever had actually came from the same plant in 1811, and we've just been cutting off branches and sticking it into other trees ever since. The map that you've been taught your entire life is a lie. This is not actually what the world looks like. That's not the shape of South America, and that is not the size of Africa. It's messed with our intuition, like the closest US state to Africa is Maine. The northern tip of Brazil is closer to Canada than it is to the southern tip of Brazil. This map is called the Mercator Projection, and it was invented in 1569, which pretty impressive to be honest. Making a map of the world is really hard because the world is not flat, despite what some angry people in the comments I'm sure are going to say. Imagine trying to flatten an orange peel. It would be almost impossible to get a neat rectangle. And so the map gets all distorted, like Greenland is actually 14 times smaller than Africa. So this is called the orthograph. It's probably the most accurate map, and you can see that Africa is bigger than North or South America. And this is the actual shape of South America. It's so short and stubby. What? Some things in history don't look like you think they look. When you think of the pyramids, an image like this probably pops into your head. But that's not what they actually looked like. The pyramids were shiny. They had this bright white limestone coating on the outside, and they were capped with gold. So what happened? Well, you have to remember, the pyramids were built when woolly mammoths still walked the earth. So a lot of time has passed in between these two pictures. Basically, the weather just got to the limestone, and the gold was just too tempting to folks walking by. They grabbed it. It's not unlike Greek and Roman statues, which also don't look like this, right? They weren't white. It pains my heart to say, but this is what Greek and Roman statues actually looked like. They were painted, sometimes awful, garish colors. And scientists have actually reconstructed what they look like because there's still traces of pigments on the statues we have today. And I hate them. I hate them so much. They are so horrifically ugly.
Things you haven't seen before. A chicken with curly hair, amazing. A brick road machine, absolute genius. Rainbow Mountain in Peru, elite. A snake skin, I've actually never seen that. Close-up image of a ladybug right after the rain, that's wild. Some horizontally spiraled brickwork, so cool. Pictures you won't believe are real. Levels of sunset, this is amazing. This is a single photo, absolute genius. The road that stopped the fire, this is crazy. Boat looks like it's floating on air, okay, this is wild. Cool ice effect after flood, that's so awesome. Two oceans meet, elite.
What did people use to wipe their butts before toilet paper? So ancient Greeks used little bits of pottery. Some of them even had their enemies' names written on them. These things were known as ostraka. They were used to vote for someone to be kicked out of a town, which is where we get the word ostracized from. The Romans would use these sponges mounted to sticks, which don't look so bad until you realize they shared them. They just kind of sat in a bucket of vinegar in the corner of these bathrooms. The Japanese use a chugi, also known as a shit stick. I'm not being crass. This is the name of the Wikipedia article. It's what it's called. They were exactly what they sound like. Other parts of the world just used water, and many still do. Americans use dried corn cobs or pages of the Farmer's Almanac. The book even started coming with a pre-drilled hole to hang in your outhouse. So China invented toilet paper in the 500s, but the rest of the world had to wait until the 19th century. And it wasn't until 1935 that splinter-free toilet paper was invented. Which, splinter-free toilet paper? You're telling me toilet paper used to have splinters in it?
Let me blow your mind. Only about 10% of people in the world are left-handed, not one of them. There are over 200 dead bodies on Mount Everest. That's crazy. Some of us are still it from a game of tag. Weird to think about. It would take 12 million mosquitoes sucking at once to completely drain a human of blood. I didn't need to know that. Otters sleep holding hands, but why though? 20% of coffee mugs contain fecal matter. No! When you close your eyes, you're looking at the inside of your eyelids. I can't unsee that. Images you won't believe are real. Two boats making a heart. This is awesome. This selfie with the Tower of Pisa, A+. This outfit that matches the waves and sand. That's crazy. A perfectly made iced coffee. This wins. Square watermelons. Okay, these don't exist. A perfectly timed pic of an airplane. This is the best.